This is Neural Newscast for Wednesday, April 15th, 2026.
Here are the stories that matter this morning.
From Neural Newscast, I'm Noah Feldman.
And I'm Hannah Whitmore.
40 nations signed the Global Fertilizer Pact in Geneva yesterday. This landmark agreement allocates $40 billion to stabilize global supply chains. The initiative provides immediate subsidies for low-carbon production facilities and creates a strategic reserve to prevent price spikes.
This pact marks a significant shift for rural economies. Fertilizer costs have tripled for many farmers since 2024. By stabilizing these expenses, the agreement protects small-scale operations from bankruptcy. It also helps ensure that food production remains consistent.
Implementation begins next month. International trade authorities will manage a centralized purchasing fund. Participating countries will start receiving technical assistance to upgrade existing manufacturing plants to meet the new low-emission standards required by the pact.
This agreement signals a long-term transition toward more sustainable and predictable agricultural markets. If successful, we should see a noticeable stabilization in global grain prices by the fall harvest. That would provide relief to both producers and consumers worldwide.
In the European Union, the Digital Skills Directive was finalized this morning. The policy requires member states to provide free technical training to 3 million workers by 2030.
The focus is on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and data analysis. The EU has allocated 12 billion euros to support these training programs across all 27 member states.
This directive aims to close the growing talent gap in the technology sector while preventing displacement due to automation. National governments must present their specific implementation plans to the Commission by October.
Meanwhile, Brazil's Ministry of Agriculture reported a record-breaking soy harvest earlier this week. Total production reached 160 million metric tons despite erratic rainfall in the south.
Increased yields in the Central West region offset the losses from the drought-affected southern states. This surplus is expected to drive down global soybean prices in the second quarter.
Export terminals in Santos and Paranagua are currently operating at maximum capacity to move this volume to international markets. Agricultural analysts suggest this could be the start of a multi-year production high for the region.
Next, India opened its largest semiconductor manufacturing facility today in Gujarat. The $5 billion plant will produce chips for the global automotive and telecommunications sectors.
This facility is part of a national strategy to secure domestic supply chains for critical electronics. It is expected to create 20,000 high-skilled jobs in the region over the next 3 years.
Initial production runs will focus on older node chips used in vehicle power systems before expanding to advanced processors. This launch marks a significant step in India's goal to become a global electronics hub.
In the UK, the government launched a new sustainable farming incentive program yesterday. Farmers can now receive payments for improving soil health and increasing biodiversity on their land.
The program replaces the previous land-based subsidy system. Applications for the first round of funding close at the end of May, with payments scheduled for late summer.
By rewarding environmental outcomes rather than just acreage, the government hopes to restore local ecosystems. This shift is being closely watched by other nations considering similar reforms to their agricultural subsidies.
Data released this morning by the U.S. Labor Department shows a 12% increase in registered apprenticeships. Growth was strongest in the renewable energy and healthcare sectors during the last fiscal year.
This trend indicates a shift towards skill-based hiring over traditional four-year degrees in several technical fields. Many of these new roles offer starting salaries 30% higher than the national median.
Federal funding for these programs has doubled since 2024 to meet the demand for specialized technicians. We expect this growth to continue as more industries adopt work-based learning models.
Turning to science, researchers in Australia deployed new autonomous robots to seed coral on the Great Barrier Reef today. These units can plant up to 5,000 coral larvae per hour to accelerate reef recovery.
The project targets sections of the reef most affected by bleaching events and uses temperature-resilient coral strains. This is the first time automation has been used at this scale for marine conservation.
Initial results from the pilot phase show a 70% survival rate for the seeded larvae. Scientists hope to expand the program to other vulnerable reef systems across the Pacific by next year.
Here is what else we are watching.
The United Nations Water Summit begins tomorrow in New York to address global groundwater depletion and cross-border water rights. Delegates from 190 nations will attend.
Microsoft will release its first quarter earnings report on Thursday afternoon. Investors are looking for updates on cloud computing revenue and continued investment in infrastructure.
On Friday, the World Health Organization will publish its annual report on the global health worker shortage. Data is expected to show critical gaps in primary care across sub-Saharan Africa.
That is the briefing for today. From Neural Newscast, I'm Noah Feldman.
And I'm Hannah Whitmore. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.